How do you do, everybody? Welcome to our November predictions for this thing they call the Academy Award or something. I am ever introducing the show as Ashley. Uh, Joining me as ever is AJ
Yeah.
and Owen.
Hello, Internet.
Boy, the state of the race has been interesting. So, the biggest thing is our awards game isn't going to finish now until April. Because WGA have decided to move their awards to April 14th.
Why? Well, oh yeah, okay. Well, still, why?
Oh, no, there's never, there's literally never.
That part I do find fascinating because went off strike weeks before the actors did, but the actors had it all sorted before the Writers Guild apparently even tried to get their award stuff figured for when they were doing it. So that is a bit confusing. I think I'm trying to remember if the I quickly go to my file. I'm trying to remember if the Satellite Awards are also doing the same. Whether they kick them in the long grass, I can't remember. But yeah, like
Oh,
the nominations are being revealed like on the 21st of February, I think it is. So like 2-3 weeks before the Oscars. But the actual ceremony itself isn't till April 14th. A
so
whole
we're going
month
to give
after.
away the Academy Award, and then, oh, here's your consolation prize.
Probably, yeah.
All right, sure.
If it comes to it's going to be weird if it comes to that close, because then it will literally be just like it was with the Golden Globes last year. It'll be us looking at a Twitter feed because the WGAs are never getting broadcast.
So basically, what you're saying is the WGA is like totally useless for anything this year because it's not going to help or hurt any of our predictions.
Probably, unless it's very close. In which case, those three could become crucial.
Yeah, for the competition, maybe that's about it.
Yeah,
It would really make sense for them if this was another one of those years where they went like they did in 2018, where they just didn't care, and they went with like Bo Burnham, and it just didn't matter at all as far as like the race.
This is when we finally get that much deserved love for BlackBerry
Yeah.
never know.
and Air for that matter.
I'm trying to double check.
Because don't forget WGA. There's so many things. Like you have the scripter, which like nearly nothing is able to be nominated for it, and then WGA will be given away after the Oscar. So, like I said, it's just a consolation prize.
Uh,
Brian says, I think it's because the writers are not going to go back to work till the beginning of this upcoming year.
oh, that's nice. Okay, so the Satellite Awards are going to be actually within the season now, after last time not being in the season. All this is going everywhere. But, it's as we are live, we're sort of in the middle of the first notable award show. I wouldn't say big, because the red carpet for the Gotham Awards is happening right now.
Yep.
So they might announce some of them by the time we're off air. Who knows? But yeah, in terms of the other state of the race stuff, we've had a few films get ditched again because of the writers and the actors strike. Probably the biggest uh, contender that could have been in there, but I know it hasn't been in our list for most of it, is it the Bike Riders?
Yes.
Yeah. Which was Disney via Fox, but Disney gave up on it. So it got shipped around, and now I believe Focus through Universal for its Focus wing is going to be distributing it in. I think did they move it to April? I think, or have they not given
It's
a date?
definitely next year.
Yeah, I don't think they've actually given a date. They're not. They're not entirely sure. And then we still have had no word on the Barbie situation. Or to that matter, I think there's another film that is being put in original but could be adapted. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. Certainly, it's something other than Barbie, or I just remember that.
I don't know about everybody else, but I've got my Barbie choice in cement, and I'm not moving. I don't care how they're campaigning.
And until I get official word, I am not doing anything.
I feel like at this point with screenplays, we'll get to in a few minutes, I don't feel like I can move anything in original at all. So
No, that's fair. Trying to think. Well, I guess we had confirmation that I don't think we've talked about it since, but the Globes are on. Did we talk about the Globes being on CBS?
I think so.
no, it's back on. It's in chat though. I noticed that roll by
straight after like the final week of NFL matches. So let's hope they don't go to overtime. Otherwise, this is going to be awkward.
Yeah, it very well also maybe another year the Golden Globes maybe just Ashley and AJ because that's Live 18 at Tin Roof.
At least at this time it won't be just a Twitter feed. There's actually some sort of presentation. I'll be able to see. But, what that? I think, just quickly going through some of the stuff in chat. Spencer saying, AJ, the Killers of the Flower Moon video was so smart and special to me. Thank you.
It was really last minute, too, so that's good to hear. I didn't... It was like half an hour before I did that video, I realized I was going to do that video.
And along with Spencer confirming their 500th watch at Pacific Heights.
Gonna be if it was a VHS copy, it'd be just as ruined as most people's copies of Titanic back in the day.
The thing is, which cassette would have got worn out the most?
Basic Instinct.
No, I mean in terms of Titanic, because it was over 2 because of how long it was, right?
The drawing scene was on the first VHS.
Exactly.
Probably that one.
Referring to.
Because the iceberg, they already hit the iceberg before you had to go to the second VHS.
Yep.
Because it's like one of the greatest cutoffs ever for like I guess you'd call it an intermission when they say, Mr. Isma, I believe you'll get your headlines. Is where the cutoff was. It's like I love how they took dramatic license to where they cut the VHS off.
I can't forget that because my mom still has that VHS copy. I don't know if AJ you remember that being always on display whenever you would come over to my mom's house back in the day.
I believe I do remember seeing.
Yes. I didn't see it theatrically until many, many, many years later. But yeah, I remember watching it on video originally.
The 2012 re-release.
That's correct.
There's a few bits here and there, but we'll try and go through them where appropriate. So, I've also just remembered. Please. Oh, I didn't bother to put it. No, there we go. Predictions begin.
Anyway, as you are kibitzing right now, Josie says, I agree with Spencer. I loved your Killers of the Flower Moon review too.
Nice.
Just going through some of the other stuff that isn't related to awards predictions. That's there. Oh, Bryce has said that update status we have a couple of FYC ads. I know I'm seeing one that Amazon are really pushing Air for a lot of things, which I guess is somewhat good.
Nice. I hope that's not going to happen. But my God, that'd make me happy.
And then the Indie Spirit nominations are next Tuesday as well. So really, I think they're the first to declare out of the major sort of ones that we cover.
They are.
Because, yeah, the Globes are going to be the 11th. Oh, the Critics are going to be on the 5th as well. So that's this time next week. That's the same day, I think, as the Spirits. By the looks of it.
I did a list of all the dates on my phone, so I can't get to them now. But yeah, that sounds about right.
I think the documentary portion of the PGA reveals on December the 12th. With the feature and the animated being revealed on January the 12th, a month later. So I think they're the significant ones. Globe nominations the 11th, 2 days. Critics Choice Film Nation announced. We're mostly going to have to skip WGA. No, we'll still do it. That's gonna be a weird sort of. We might have to do that like as a postscript to a Q&A session.
Sounds about right.
That's gonna be weird. And they've confirmed that Jimmy Kimmel is back hosting the Oscars. Apparently. Which means because of Oppenheimer and maybe Air, Matt Damon could be there. So
no, he'll get bumped.
Something will happen. And the short lists will be announced on the 21st of December as well. Randomly, we've got a here of Josie saying, can we just talk about how amazing Paris, Texas is? I mean, I guess. First time watching since last thing. Kiss Me Deadly, Crisscross, repeat performance, Panda and the Magic Serpent, A Boy Named Charlie Brown, Lone Star, Father Frost, and The Great Rupert. Along with Evenings on a Farm Near Dikanka, aka Night Before Christmas generic title, which is a 1961 Russian Christmas film, and I'll Be Seeing You directed by William Detail. I'm loving my new place. I live by my cousin and daughters, her daughters Lily and Rosie. I've been showing them Rugrats. I've also showed them Brave Little Toaster, Little Nemo in Slumberland, and Anastasia. I've been reading to Rosie a lot. She loves the Miss Spider books. The plot of Spider's Wedding is quite crazy for a kid's book. Miss Spider and Holly meet and fall in love, but her beetle friend May sets her up with a Spiderous Reeves who turns out to be a total cad. I'm not kidding, they even use the word cad in the book. At one point he even tries to eat Holly. Of course, Miss Spider and Holly end up marrying in the end. Look at the images. Recently finished reading in Honor of Your Presence, a novella by Dave Eggers. and is now reading the novel of The Wonder Boys by Michael Chabon. Critics' Choice nods days are this, TV on the 5th, films on the 13th. Oh, so there is a bit of a delay to that as well. So there's a fair bit. Right, now as I look at the timestamp. Oh, if I somehow...
You missed one.
Oh, what was the other one?
Josie also says, I wish the Holdovers had an original song so then it could really follow the path of the Wonder Boys winning Best Original Song.
Alright. I mean, it might do, I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. It's not coming out here until after Christmas, which is brilliant. Anyway.
Fantastic movie.
That timestamp's roughly correct. Let's get into it. And as ever, we lead off with the screenplays and adapted. Over to you, AJ.
All right, how's my connection been so far? Are we good?
Seems to be okay.
Since we went live, I haven't had issues. But right before we went live, I had the wonderful annoying error message. But as soon as we went live, your picture came in clear, and you've been fine so far.
All right. So I gotta tell you, my adapted screenplay lineup has been the same like the last couple of times, and I just feel really good. I honestly don't see it being anything other than these five. I hate to say that I don't want to throw the word lock out or anything or say I'm absolutely certain about anything, but I mean, I just look at these five and it's like, how is it not that? Like, what else do you throw into this? Unless I'm really underestimating the zone of interest, which keeps kind of rearing its head a little bit, but I'm really stuck on these five, and as we just talked about, another reason I'm really stuck on these five is I'm not budging on the Barbie thing.
Nope.
It's not fucking original. It's just not. Those characters already existed. Barbie Land already existed. The Dreamhouse already existed. It's fucking adapted.
I mean, it's obviously for the shortlists, adapted and all that doesn't get included. But I'd have thought by the next time we do predictions or whatever, we're probably going to know what actually is going down with that, as to definitively say, is it original or is it adapted? Because legit, we're not going to get any sort of clear explanation from WGA, because their stuff will be like 2 or 3 weeks way too late from when we get.
Well, even then, I think WGA went against the grain on Moonlight, didn't they?
Yeah.
They put it in original.
Yeah.
And then there's the whole thing of, well, they're campaigning in original, but it's like there was a question for a long time of, do they have to vote with the category that it's campaigned in? And I think for a long time people didn't know that. And then Lakeith Stanfield happened, and it's like, nope, they can vote wherever the fuck they want. It doesn't matter where they campaign. So I'm not moving Barbie from adapted, and I'm going to move Barbie from adapted until nomination day, until the end. It is not moving. So I have American Fiction, Barbie, Kills of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things, and I really don't see what else it could be.
I mean, I've made a switch. I've moved Zone of Interest out, and luckily it's no different alphabetically. So I still have American Fiction and Killers of the Flower Moon and Oppenheimer and Poor Things, but at the minute in my 5th spot, because there's always a quirky one, I currently have Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse in there. Because I'm trying to remember, I don't think Into Spider-Verse made it in the screenplay, right?
No.
But considering how it's the only thing within the Marvel extended universe that works, and it's not even technically Marvel because it's Sony, They've done better use of the multiverse across 2 films. Although, to be fair, what the hell was up with bloody the Venom sequel? But whatever. Than a lot of the Marvel stuff has done over the past 2 years. Ever since WandaVision established it. So, it can easily move out the other 4. And, if Barbie does move into adapted, like it probably should, Spider-Man would probably move out, so I don't object to AJ's thing. I think that's a strong list as well. There's really nothing that seems to be cropping up that's really getting the chance to knock in. I think it's really just, if you include Barbie, it's probably those 7, because I don't think Priscilla or Color Purple has got momentum at the minute. So those are my 5.
Ashley, before I go, do you want to hit the chat?
Yes. Spencer for adapted has Killers of the Flower Moon, American Fiction, Zone of Interest, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and Oppenheimer. And then Rosie, as ever, is doing the temper category, so the manifestations and the predictions combined. So Joey has All of Us Strangers, American Fiction, Are You There, God, It's Me, Margaret, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, Society of Snow, Spider-Verse, and Zone of Interest, and The Taste of Things. I did see Josie say, would love to see Rachel McAdams there as well as the screenplay. Love about the screenplay for Are You There, God, It's Me, Margaret, is how it takes a book that's so internal and fully realised into a relatable narrative. For when you're so young, and as an adult too, the world is so big and certain that things seem like huge deals and are actually quite small. Does that make sense? Yeah. That's certainly with obviously changing the presentation of it from an introspective thing to an extrospective thing. I think that's why you probably can't do an adaptation of Catcher in the Rye, because so much of Catcher in the Rye is Holden Caulfield's perspective on everything. Whether you can flip that to extrapolate it to like third person, I don't know, but either way. Seeing Bry for adapted also has American Fiction, Barbie, Killers of the Moon, Poor Things, and still no changes. That's 4, but I'm guessing, yeah, Briar's not adjusted either, just like AJ.
All right. Thank you, Chad, again. Yeah, I'm with AJ on this 100%. This does not see any reason it should be anything else. AJ made a comment about kind of discounting the Zone of Interest, and that's the only thing I'm even seeing popping up that I have no stake in whatsoever, at least at this moment. Barbie being adapted or original, we'll find out soon enough, but until I am told otherwise, I am also not going to change my mind. My adapted screenplay lineup is exactly the same as AJ's. American Fiction, Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things.
So we
all right,
switch over to the original side of things.
all right. I didn't change anything again. This also might have been the lineup I had the past couple of times. There's one thing here I guess we can talk about. It's still, for me, Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, The Iron Claw, Past Lives, and Saltburn. I know I'm not budging on The Iron Claw either. I'm still saying it's being slept on, and it's kind of baffling to me how much it's being slept on. But we'll see what happens. as far as having Saltburn there, I was about to go. I was, toying with the idea of going off Saltburn completely because I think I had Barry Keoghan at some point, and I was really, really wrestling with putting Pike in how I really wanted to, but I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to. But I was thinking I could actually see it just kind of being like original screenplay is the only nomination it gets. And as far as the reception that it's gotten now that it's out and has been seen, um, I want to make the argument it might be too off-putting, but off-putting movies can still like if a movie is off-putting enough, it'll still get original screenplay and maybe that's it. Like that's kind of the life that it has when a movie like that is able to break through. But we've been talking a lot about how Poor Things plays into this and how does being too weird and out there matter anymore now that we're in a post The Shape of Water winning Best Picture world, and the fact that Poor Things is perceived to do as well as it may do, and the fact that they've just really taken to Lanthimos in general, is a movie being too weird even a thing anymore? So, like, are they willing to embrace a lot more now than they were used to? And movies like Saltburn can do even more than original screenplay. I don't know, but I still kind of have it as the one that only gets this category, which I feel like is a pretty continuous trend. Maybe not every year, but enough to notice a trend. So, and the others kind of speak for themselves. I'm not backing down too much on Past Lives. In any decisions I make later, I don't want it to seem like I'm sort of giving up on Past Lives because we've talked about how movies go and come back all the time in the season. There's always those movies where we start talking about them in August and maybe September, and then they start to disappear throughout the season and people stop talking about them, and then they just come back. So I'm not leaving Past Lives behind. So I still feel good about that. I imagine even the people that I think are underestimating Past Lives still probably have it here at least. So that's how I feel. Much like Adapt, that I'm stuck on these five. The only change I would make is maybe Maestro, because Bradley Cooper has a lot of friends. I know we made fun of him for missing out in Best Director for A Star Is Born, and he like lost the debut DGA, so it started to really look like, what was that?
You guys did. I was on his side. Let that be known.
Right. And we were making fun of that because it was like, oh man, they just suddenly turned on him, and it's like, and it is weird that he had two chances in 2021 and missed both of them, but still, A Star Is Born still got a lot. Like that director snub is the only snub it got, really. It basically got everything else it was expected to, including that adapted screenplay nomination. So, which I feel like we were kind of dismissive because they were like, are they really going to nominate like the fourth A Star Is Born screenplay? And they did. So, and I imagine a lot of that comes from the fact that the industry kind of fucking loves Bradley Cooper. So he's got a shitload of friends in high places too. So Maestro could definitely be, well, I would say getting slept on, but people seem to be kind of showing attention now. But maybe I'm underestimating it, but I'm kind of going that direction, kind of not. Because I definitely would see these five over it here, but I could be underestimating how many giant friends Bradley Cooper has. Did I actually lose sound again?
Yep. Close. Down and sound.
Well,
I'm plugging it in the front. Well, so I don't have to get up now if it goes wrong. Only one change for me as well. I've moved out Past Lives because I'm getting the Iron Claw hook as well. Oh wait, I've just realised that's a joke. Um, I don't want to do anything with Saltburn because I'm kind of thinking that the culmination of events in Saltburn is enough to possibly, you know, make it a lock somewhat for the category.
You could say that.
Because I also understand why they do not reveal very much in the film.
There is a very good reason for it.
So again, alphabetically.
Oh God, again.
I hope not.
Oh, no.
Liveshow.com. Let's go. I just start making things alphabetical next month. I will. I promise.
So yeah, alphabetically, Iron Claw just replaces Past Lives because along with that, I still have Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, and Saltburn. If Barbie does get switched, I probably have Maestro at the minute in contention to be number 5 because that seems to be getting momentum. And I don't know whether it's because of the Bradley Cooper thing. It might just be a lot of people liking that film. I mean, don't get me wrong. They also enjoyed Past Lives, but I guess it's the timing and release that might be helping Maestro to get eyes on it as we edge towards, the nomination period over the next few weeks. Switching to scrolling up and down the chat. Spencer for original has Anatomy of a Fall, Air, Holdovers, Maestro, and Barbie. And then Josie has I don't know what Josie has.
Fantastic. Good job.
Well, no, I'm looking at the list and like I see that Josie put adapted, but I didn't see anything for original. Yeah. Josie, tell me what your original 10 are. Because they didn't show up earlier.
Yeah, it is. I see it.
Oh, yeah.
Original is About Dry Grasses, Air, Anatomy of a Fall, Asteroid City, Boy and the Heron, Fallen Leaves, The Holdovers, May December, Past Lives, and Perfect Days.
Well, that's concerning because that's nowhere in my. Oh, there it is. Right. It was.
Seek it out.
It's because Spencer put supporting actress there as well. And like, damn it. Go ahead, Owen.
Well, this is the first time I've had a chance to say anything since we didn't get to say anything last night. But talking about Maestro, this will be the second time we've referenced REM in 2 days. So the thing about it is that I feel like Maestro is the one that I'm very confident in the lower tier of the top 8, but I don't necessarily know how far it's going to go. I guess we'll see how that works out. I still have The Holdovers here. Fantastic movie. Very well written script. I cannot wait for the Iron Claw. They're doing a special sneak preview on December 13th, so I'll be there for that. I'm looking forward to that as well. So this is the first time I can say on camera that I watched Saltburn this weekend, and it's a trip, to say the least. I'll tell you right now, it's not for everyone, but it definitely was for me. And it's got a lot of interesting reactions. It was a very strange crowd that I watched it with that evening. And I really feel that if I give anything away, if I really say anything, it's going to give something away, and I don't want to. But the funny thing about it is I'm not going to give anything away because even if I said something out of context, it makes no sense. But when you watch the movie, you understand what it is. And that's why I made the conscious decision last month to put Past Live in Saltburn's place. Well, another movie that I got to view that a lot of people have hoped for, and that's Anatomy of a Fall, which is a fantastic script as well. I bumped it out for Saltburn because the whole why can't we do both? Yeah, why can't we do both? So yeah, my best original screenplay lineup is The Holdovers, The Iron Claw, Maestro, Past Lives, and Saltburn.
I was gonna make one more throwaway comment about Maestro, but I feel like our flow is already off, so we probably need to keep going.
Sure. Okay.
All right. Are we on supporting actress?
Yes, we are.
All right. This is one where I've made a new choice that's kind of a leap of faith, and we'll see what happens. It's based only on the fact that I read Erasure a couple of weeks ago, the book that American Fiction is based on. And I was reading it, and it was like, this could be a really juicy part for whoever plays this, assuming it sticks to the book. And then I just kind of looked. I think I looked at the reception part of its Wikipedia page, and apparently reviews have mentioned this performance. So I thought, not many people have seen American Fiction yet, so of course this wouldn't have much buzz behind it, but maybe I can get on this a little early, perhaps, if it becomes anything. So in order to do that, who the hell did I sacrifice? Did I have Taraji in last time?
I don't have your lineup. Ashley does.
I don't have Taraji now. I replaced her
All right,
with this person. So I have my beloved Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer, hopefully. Danielle Brooks for The Color Purple, Julianne Moore for May December, Devon Joy Randolph for The Holdovers, and Leslie Uggams for American Fiction. She plays Jeffrey Wright's mom, who has dementia. So that, yeah, like I said, based on just hearing, yeah, reviews have said that she's good in it, on top of reading the part in the book, is like, that could be a really strong part, especially if American Fiction really takes off once it's got its, like, proper release. So I could see that happening. So that's going to be kind of my leap of faith at the moment. So to kind of break up the monotony a little bit.
Mine is switched up in one respect as well. Rosamund Pike for Saltburn moves out because I'm doing the old daily double again. I have Danielle Brooks and Taraji P. Henson in now for Color Purple. I've had enough of switching them and putting them both in, at least for the time being. And they are alongside at least the two locks, I would say, of Blunt for Oppenheimer and Divine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers. Then the other one that I'm umming and ahhing over is Julianne Moore for May December. It's probably that and Pike, switching in and out at the minute. I'm not sure. But that's what I have read now. Spencer for supporting actress has Divine Joy Randolph for Holdovers, Rachel McAdams for Are You There, God It's Me, Margaret, Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer, Danielle Brooks for Color Purple, and Viola Davis for Air. And then with Josie's list, Juliette Binoche for Taste of Things, Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer, Danielle Brooks for Color Purple, Claire Foy for All of Us Strangers, Sandra Hall for Zone of Interest, Rachel McAdams for Are You There, God It's Me, Margaret, Julianne Moore for May December, Cara J. Myers for Killers of the Flower Moon, and Divine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers. Oh, Bry for original screenplay had Anatomy of a Fall, Holdovers, Iron Claw, May December, and Past Lives with still no changes. And then for supporting actress, Blunt, Brooks, Foster for Naiad, Taraji B. Henson, and Divine Joy Randolph. Bry's got a question for you, Owen. Since you've seen Anatomy of a Fall, they're more English in the movie than French.
Mm, well, she is during the trial. She is forced to speak French. So I would say it's about half and half, basically. Because most of her dialogue is English, but when she's in the trial, she's obviously dealing with a French governing body, so she has to speak French, even though sometimes she does lapse in English every once in a while because she doesn't understand how to complete the sentence. So she basically says something to the extent of, "Hold on, can I say this way? I don't understand how I can't explain this in French. Can I say this in English?" And they give her the chance to do it with the horrible hung jury that they have, and some of the most annoying judges I have ever seen in a film before. 100%. I
More
wanted to
than
strike one major judge the entire time the movie was over.
more than Langella in Trial of Chicago 7.
It's real close. $1,000,000%, it's real close. When you see the movie, you know exactly what I mean.
That's I'm a little alarmed after he's mentioned May December because I kind of just keep forgetting. Like I'm so fixated on I'm really all in on Julianne Moore. I keep forgetting that May December could totally come back in original as well.
The only reason
May
I think
December.
it's cursed is because over here in the UK it's getting released by Sky Cinema, which usually
So
means if you can't get a distributor, that's kind of concerning to me.
So the May December love. I mean, I guess I'm a tad bit butthurt because I have no way of seeing it because everybody knows my rules. Um, I'm not going anywhere near Naiad until I absolutely have to. So that's not even an option for me. Um, Supporting's interesting because I think I said this last show, and if I didn't say it last show, I've said it to AJ a few times. I think I may have said it to Ashley as well. Every time I see a trailer for The Color Purple, I lose more faith in it. I don't know why. I just do. And I was real close to dropping Danielle Brooks this week, but I didn't. And I thought to strike while the iron was hot with last time when I mentioned Cara Jade Myers for Killers of the Flower Moon, which Josie also concurred as well. And that could be your shock. And she bumped Taraji out of my original lineup too. And that role is great, but Ashley bumped her out. I guess I'm gonna have to put her back in. Rosamund Pike for Saltburn. I'm telling you, man, you just have to see this performance. It's fun, it's diabolical, it's evil, and it's also endearing at the same time, if that makes any sense. I'm telling you right now, I would not be shocked if she gets a spot here, and I had to put Rosamund Pike as my fifth, keeping with the three that I'm probably never gonna get rid of. You're welcome, AJ. Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer, Divine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers, Danielle Brooks for The Color Purple, and yes, I'm sticking with it until the water runs dry. America Ferrera for Barbie. I think a lot of people are sleeping on America Ferrera, and I feel that she might be a surprise announcement on nomination day that most people wouldn't have seen coming.
I mean,
I could be wrong, but I mean, I'm gonna go with it.
I mean,
I feel like it makes
if
sense
she
in my head.
starts cropping up in Critics' Choice and SAG and all that over the next few weeks, I think we probably need to take her more into consideration than at least me and AJ are right now.
I think 1,000,000% SAG is what gets her into this race at this point. That's what I'm
Yeah.
gonna.
Well, you also know how I'm treating Barbie in general.
Right, I know.
So I'm of the controversial opinion, I think, that Barbie will underperform.
It very well could, but I mean, we'll have to wait and see.
Speaking of me saying that,
Yeah.
One thing I want to quickly add in. Josie says, AJ, you mentioned that Erasure, the book that American Fiction's based off, as a book within the book. This makes me want to ask to me, Have you read any good books that have a book within a book? I can't think of any off the top of my head. I don't think there's nothing that really comes to mind on that front. I thought there was more to it, AJ. Go ahead with your supporting actors.
So this is the category I was working on, like, right before we started. I made like a really, really last minute change. Last time I went with, I can't remember if it was the last couple of times, it was at least the last time, I decided to try the doubling up on Poor Things thing with Ruffalo and Willem Dafoe. I've decided to scratch that. I didn't really go in the direction I would have expected, but yeah. But I'll just fucking say them and then I'll explain. It's De Niro and Kills of Flower Moon, Downey and Oppenheimer, Ruffalo and Poor Things, Dominic Sessa for The Holdovers, and Jeremy Allen White for The Iron Claw. Don't know where the fuck everybody is on Jeremy Allen White. I feel like I don't know what's going on with people not paying attention to The Iron Claw. I don't get it.
It will.
But yeah, I'm still going for the Gosling snub. I know that seems unwise, but I don't know. It's just this feeling I've had since we started. And the whole idea of Barbie getting a couple of really big mentions, but not all of the big mentions that it's expected to at the moment. Especially since people seem to have Gosling really high.
Yeah.
Like, basically, like, I'm sure there's varying opinions on this, but let's say, hypothetically, if Downey is the front runner, I usually see Gosling, like, right under him.
Yep.
Which is interesting. So, I don't know. And honestly, I feel like The Holdovers is just really making a lot of noise right now. This is one of those cases where we talk about, once a movie is released, will it start getting more attention? Will it make noise when it comes out? And that doesn't always happen, but it feels like that's what The Holdovers is doing. Like, now that it's out there, it's making noise and being noticed. So, and I struggled with this because I also considered Melton for May December.
Saw that too.
Because the thing is they don't typically we talk about this so much. They don't typically go for young actors. They go for young actresses. Young actresses is like their favorite thing, but young actors they rarely go for. I'm trying to remember like an example. The past 2 decades, besides like this decade we're in, and then the last decade, besides Lucas Hedges. Lucas Hedges felt like such an anomaly with his nomination because I looked it up. I was thinking I was putting Melton in the same thing, but apparently Melton is 32, so he might be out of that range. But I think Sessa's like 20 or 21 or something, which is pretty young for being an actor getting potentially nominated. But like I said, if this is I don't know if I'm getting vibes of the Casey Affleck Lucas Hedges relationship from what little I've seen of Giamatti and him together. Maybe that's a great way to put it. Maybe that's what's pushing it, with Devon Joy Randolph obviously being the Michelle Williams of the group, who's like just in the sense of she's the supporting actress who's fine, who will be here basically. But yeah, and I know when you take all of that into account, I just don't know what could convince me to get on the Gosling thing. Now that I think it might partially be I've gone this far, why turn back?
Works so well for me.
Like the Eddie Redmayne thing from 2004.
Yeah, of course.
But or Ethan Hawke that same year. Maybe vibes of that, where it's like when it happens, it's like, of course, why wasn't I saying that the whole time? But I don't know. I even told Owen the other day, I'll bet Gosling wins the Globe.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I'll bet he wins the Globe, but I'm still not predicting him.
So, then what happens?
I could also see the Globes putting him in leading.
Yeah.
Honestly. So
Oh yeah.
we'll see what happens. But what I'm basically trying to do is defend my not putting Gosling in thing, even though I've been doing it the whole time, and just further stressing why is Jeremy Allen White not a thing right now? It's like it seems like a fucking no-brainer to me, but once again, I guess with the Iron Claw in general, we'll see what happens. But yeah, and as I allude to every time, I hope Downey's the front runner. I really, really do.
Just I wanted to put this in because it's all switching about. I also have probably temporarily taken out Gosling, but along with De Niro for Killers of the Flower Moon and Downey Jr. for Oppenheimer and Ruffalo for Poor Things and Jeremy Allen White for The Iron Claw, I also have Dominic Sessa in for The Holdovers.
Yes.
Because it's good that I have a rotating list of about 7 or 8 names that are potentially going in there. I don't think there's enough to take out De Niro and Downey Jr. They're sort of the 2 locks now, I would say. And then the Poor Things has also got the case of, do you have both or do you have one or the other? And Holdover seems to be very sort of, a prominent role for at least lead actor and then supporting for both actor and actress. Which, when it's a quality film, I guess that makes sense. We won't be seeing it until after Christmas in the UK, so. But yeah, I'm going with that for now. Gosling will probably move back in, but where it will go in the shuffle within the next 4 weeks, I don't know. In the chat, Spencer has. Hang on. Oh, different order. Gosling for Barbie, Downey Jr. for Oppenheimer, John Magaro for Past Lives, Mark Ruffalo for Poor Things, and De Niro for Killers of the Flower Moon.
I would be elated if John Magaro made a comeback. I would love to see that.
Josie has Jamie Bell for All of Us Strangers, Sterling K. Brown for American Fiction, Willem Dafoe for Poor Things, De Niro for Killers of the Flower Moon, Milo Machado Grainer for Anatomy of a Fall, Charles Melton for May December, Ruffalo for Poor Things, Dominic Sessa for Holdovers, and Rami Youssef for Poor Things. I'll have to go through some of the other ones in a bit, and then
something I kind of started on before I said mine, as far as not going the direction I thought I might. I'm not sure what's making me go Ruffalo over Dafoe when it comes to Poor Things. Because I almost feel like, I don't know if it's just like the makeup or what, but something about Dafoe's role seems like it would be juicier. But it just really seems to be Ruffalo leaning. I don't know where that. And the problem also is it's like, usually when it's between 2 people, it's like you usually go. It's like the main example, the most recent example would be like Katrina Balfe and Judi Dench, where it's like you go with the person that hasn't been nominated yet and isn't a veteran, and they end up going with the veteran anyway. It's like you can't even do that because Ruffalo and Dafoe have like, what is it, an equal amount of nominations or close to it? Dafoe might have one over him.
Yeah.
I don't remember. But Dafoe also has one in leading, and Ruffalo doesn't. I don't know if any of this plays a part in picking one over the other, but I don't know.
See, the fun thing about this is AJ doesn't have access to the chat, and he literally almost word for word verbatim dropped the same knowledge that Josie did in chat a second ago. Exact same commentary about Dench versus Balfe with Belfast. Exact same thing. And Ashley can vouch for this.
I mean, maybe.
I mean, you could say Dafoe is more of a veteran than Ruffalo, but Ruffalo's basically a veteran at this point,
He's also
especially with how many nominations he has.
I'm
he's
trying to
very, very much the main person in the trailer that's not Emma Stone.
I think I've just done the mental math. I think Ruffalo has 3, Dafoe has 4, right? Defoe's got Platoon, Shadow of the Vampire, Florida Project, At Eternity's Gate. Ruffalo has The Kids Are All Right, Foxcatcher, Spotlight. I think that's it.
Okay.
I forgot that they snubbed him for Lighthouse.
Jesus.
Are
I'm
we ready?
Well, no, I've also got Bry saying I'm having to bring up the live chat as well on the tablet because my chat went surprisingly quiet, which I'm a bit concerned about. So there's another one of the viewing figures. If live chat even loads. Oh, great, that's ominous. Bry says for supporting actor Sterling K. Brown, Downey Jr., Gosling, Ruffalo, and Jeremy Allen White. With a heads up saying you're going to see either underperforming Killers of the Flower Moon, a lot of people are losing its momentum. With Bry adding, I wonder with De Niro losing that lawsuit in the last few weeks, whether some votes might not go to him because he's a bit of an idiot.
I don't know about anybody else. I don't even know what that's referring to.
I'm trying to remember. It was something like his assistant or whatever. He was underpaying her, I think.
There's been rumors that De Niro's like really cheap for like a long time. that makes sense. But at the same time, though, I feel like every year we have this conversation of, will this unrelated thing affect voting? And it's like, it never does.
Mm-mm.
Like it's just
Deal there.
it is nice that we're really seeing a trend lately of people needing to get paid getting fucking paid.
All right. You know, it's only mentioned once in chat, but we might be underestimating Sterling K. Brown here, especially if American Fiction does as well as people think it's going to. Go ahead.
Should I go into that? I can't remember if I was just the conversation with you or if live I went into the whole Sterling K. Brown in the book thing, since I went into the whole Leslie Uggams thing.
You really haven't said anything live yet.
All right. I have no idea what Sterling K. Brown's performance is like based on the book because, judging by what little I've heard, they completely changed that character. He's like a like in the book, he's like a very sort of meek, depressed character, and he's only heard over the phone. And reviews have been calling Sterling K. Brown a comedic highlight of American fiction. So, and they even changed the character's name. He went from like Bill to Cliff. So despite reading the book, I have no gauge whatsoever on Sterling K. Brown.
And I would love to join your bandwagon because I'm the only one of the three of us that's actually seen the holdovers. And I know how great Dominic Sessa is, and I really want him to be in this. I really do. That performance is great. But I can't do it. But it's not because of somebody I don't like because of personal bias getting bumped out. No, he's gone finally. So I don't have the double anymore. I still have Ryan Gosling for Barbie. I still have Robert Downey Jr. for Oppenheimer. I still have Robert De Niro for Killers of the Flower Moon. I still have Mark Ruffalo for Poor Things. And yes, welcome to the dance, Carrie Von Erich. Finally, Jeremy Allen White for the Iron Claw. And I'll tell you right now, if they go even a third into the Carrie Von Erich story, this has Oscar written all over it. He will be a top contender on awards morning, and AJ will have the biggest bragging rights in the world.
Has the movie been? I don't think the movie's been seen yet, has it?
There are people I know that have seen it, and
I mean,
well, first
premiere
off,
happened.
wrestling fans will be just upset because the fact that MJF is barely a background extra for all intents and purposes, even though he just does have an exec producer credit on it. I am very interested after seeing the cast list to see Chavo Guerrero as the original Sheik, Edward Farhat, and Ryan Nemeth as Gino Hernandez, which excites me greatly. But yeah, I cannot wait for this movie. I'm super happy for it. I'm glad that it's getting all the love it deserves to have. I'm getting like real wrestler vibes. Like, The Wrestler was a movie that did so well, and a lot of people didn't really, they kind of discounted it when it first came out, but then Mickey Rourke's performance just blew everybody away. And then he kind of shot himself in the foot. But I mean, needless to say, I always bring this up, and I always will. The Wrestler beat The Hurt Locker at the Spirit Awards. So technically speaking, by the law of averages, The Wrestler could have won Best Picture. I'm not going against Ryan Gosling for Barbie, and I'll tell you right now, if he does not get nominated for his very incredible performance musically, I will be seriously shocked. I'm Just Ken will definitely be on the Oscar stage. I see it right now, 100%. But yeah, that's my supporting actor lineup. I don't really see much of a reason to change until I absolutely have to. And yes, Dominic Sess is amazing. If you have not seen The Holdovers, do yourself a favor and go see it if it's available to you.
Are we on actress?
We are on actress.
I don't really have anything to add here. I don't have any passionate takes or any, out of left field choices. It's just what I had last time, and I don't really have anything to add to the conversation. So I still have Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon, Sandra Hüller for Anatomy of a Fall, Greta Lee for Past Lives, Carey Mulligan for Maestro, and Emma Stone for Poor Things. I kind of toyed with putting Portman back in, but I couldn't figure out who to bump out. Mulligan's like my fifth slot, because obviously I have more faith in Greta Lee than I've seen around, and I'm really hanging on to Past Lives as much as I can. So that's about all.
Okay.
I mean, it's the race of the two Stones, is it not? Stone and Gladstone.
1,000,000%.
Everybody else is like, hey, it's nice to be here.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to remember whether I moved Robbie out last time or Glenda Jackson just because I wanted it said on that one, because I've switched them back, but I've also moved out Benning for Nyad because I don't know where that film falls really. That's had such sort of mixed sort of performances. The reason I say that is because there's another film that is mixed, but as we've seen, as long as a role's powerful enough, a mixed film can get a nomination. So I still have Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon. I still have Carey Mulligan for Maestro. Or she moved in, I can't remember. Margot Robbie for Barbie and Emma Stone for Poor Things. And from out of nowhere, because it turns out, oh wait, the performance might actually be that good, Vanessa Kirby moves back in for Napoleon. Because nearly everything I've seen has said the only reason this film is passable is the power of Kirby's performance as Josephine. So I'm thinking,
a bold choice.
so I'm putting her
You're on
back
your own
in
now,
there for the
sure.
time being. Spoilers: the Joker isn't making it in, but Kirby is. Spencer for their list has Sandra Huller for Anatomy of a Fall, Lily Gadsden for Kiss of the Flower Moon, Callie Spaney for Priscilla, Greta Lee for Past Lives, and Emma Stone for Poor Things. Josie has Zara Mia Ebrahimi for Shader. Lily Gadsden for Kills the Flower Moon, Sandra Huller for Anatomy of a Fall, Greta Lee for Past Lives, Kerry Mulligan for Maestro, Natalie Portman for May December, Alma Posty for Fallen Leaves, Callie Spaney for Priscilla, Emma Stone for Poor Things, and Tiana Taylor for 1001. And then all the way down with Bry stuff. Bry has Annette Bennett for the career win. So maybe not exactly for Naiad. Lily Gladstone for Killers, Sandra Huller for Anatomy, Kerry Mulligan for Maestro, and Emma Stone for Poor Things. Still no changes on Bry's list. I'll go through some of the other comments as well. I think at the end, even though they probably relate to some of the stuff that we've been talking about. But go ahead, AJ. Owen.
All right.
It's midnight.
So, and where you are. Hey, I have an excuse for being tired now. So actress hasn't changed for me. No reason for it to. I don't really see much that's going to sway me. This Annette Bening thing, I'm not biting on it. That's not happening. At least not to me. I could be proven wrong. Most likely will be proven wrong now that I've said that. I'm sticking with Margot Robbie for Barbie, Emma Stone for Poor Things, Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon, Kerry Mulligan for Maestro. It's her fun little side role in Saltburn that I enjoy. So that's going to be kind of cool to if you're a fan, like obviously everyone knows I am. It's going to be nice to be able to see that. And that's also another credit to Margot Robbie because she's an exec producer on Saltburn too. And Sandra Hula, because that performance is great. It really is. And another year it'd be contending for the win, but now it's just the third place to the Stones.
All right.
Speaking of a tough category.
Yeah.
I hate this category. Shit.
Well, I'll go ahead and say up front that I didn't change anything, which means I still have Bradley Cooper for Maestro, Colin Domingo for Rustin, Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers, Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer, and Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction. Still snubbing DiCaprio, but honestly, I don't feel... I was more trying to reconsider Barry Keoghan before I even thought about should I consider DiCaprio. Because like I was saying, they might be done with DiCaprio. And I'm not just saying that just because of Don't Look It Up, but it's just he won his Oscar, and then his next movie he gave what was essentially the performance of his life in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which he got in for, and that's, I think you can put people like Colin Domingo and Jeffrey Wright who haven't been here yet in his place. So I have seen Rustin, which I watched the other day. But I actually was watching Rustin sold me partially. I was actually unsure because, unlike we were just talking about with The Holdovers, Rustin was kind of released with like no fanfare. Like I had to be reminded it was on Netflix, and it was like, oh shit, I should probably watch that before the next prediction video. But I do think it's one of those cases where it's his performance that's kind of carrying it. It's very, I don't know if it could just be because Dustin Lance Black is a writer on it, but I did get Milk vibes from it. And I didn't realize that Domingo's performance was transformative because I had no idea who Rustin was. So I was not expecting when I first saw him, and it's like, oh damn, this is the performance. Because I was just kind of expecting Coleman Domingo just like giving speeches or whatever you expect in a biopic. But no, it's like a transformative performance, and I think there's also something to it that when he inevitably he's playing Albert in The Color Purple, right? The Danny Glover part.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Seeing those roles back to back is gonna really show how much range he has. Because he's kind of made his thing so far being like scary, intimidating characters like in Zola and Candyman and stuff like that. He's always been like scary up to this point. And obviously the Rustin performance is anything but that. And The Color Purple is going to be going back to that. So it's like it stands out in his filmography as something totally different when you look at the transformative aspect. So that's what pushed me to keeping him more so than the fact that the movie's not really. I'm not really hearing any reception for the movie, honestly. So the movie could just go under the radar entirely, in which case somebody like Barry Keoghan or DiCaprio could get the fifth slot. But the others, I feel okay with. I think so. Yeah.
AJ, I would say Coleman Domingo's visibility would have been even more great if Drive Away Dolls didn't get pushed until February, because it's getting a lot of traction. As pretty much, I feel like I have a trailer on nearly everything I'm watching right now. I'm super hyped for it, and he's a very big, prominent part of the trailer, so I feel like that would help his visibility as well.
I'm still a little surprised his short didn't get nominated last year.
Okay.
So, unsurprisingly, Michael Caine moves out again with my Switch. But rather than putting Giamatti back in, again because of the switching up, Bradley Cooper moves in for Maestro. Joining DiCaprio, Domingo, Murphy, and Wright. Again, I sort of have 6 or 7 that sort of going around in the. Unlike with the other one, though, I think the only definitive lock from no, I guess there are. I'd say Murphy and Wright are probably the safe bets to probably stay in there. But I could foresee the other 3, even DiCaprio, possibly moving out, depending how much momentum the others get at the right point. So yeah, that's my picks as it is. Spencer is picking Giamatti for Holdovers, Cooper for Maestro, Wright for American Fiction, Murphy for Oppenheimer, and TOU for Past Lives. Josie has Cooper for Maestro, DiCaprio for Killers of the Flower Moon, Christian Friedel for Zone of Interest, Paul Giamatti for Holdovers, Benoit Magimel for Taste of Things, Mads Mikkelsen for Promised Land, Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer, Drew Scott for All of Us Strangers, Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction, and Koji Yakusho for Perfect Days. And Bry has Bradley Cooper, Zac Efron for Iron Claw, Paul Giamatti, Cillian Murphy, and Jeffrey Wright. I took Domingo out because for the past 2 years we've seen one performance in Netflix films that was the film's only nomination for the season, which gets everything and then misses the Oscar. I.e., for example, Ruth Negga for Passing and Eddie Redmayne for The Good Nurse. So if Domingo is the only nomination for Rustin's this season, I think he gets in everywhere but misses on the Oscar.
So, with actor, yeah, AJ already brought it up, and I can vouch for it. Barry Keoghan is the real in Saltburn, and I'd love to have put him in here. I really would. Shout out to Brian for bringing up Zac Efron too. I really wish he was more in this conversation, just because it's amazing to me that the main two leads in High School Musical are all elite. Anyway, if you know, you know. Um, this actor lineup is going to be a nightmare this season. I got a feeling there's going to be a lot of snubs and a lot of undeserving snubs, like there are every year. But that being said, I haven't changed my lineup one iota. Even after the conversation I had with AJ about Coleman Domingo and about Rustin, I just can't get off this five. I feel like Jeffrey Wright was the last person to work his way into this lineup, and I don't see a reason to back down at this point. So my actor lineup remains Bradley Cooper for Maestro, Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer, Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction, Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers, and Leonardo DiCaprio for Killers of the Flower Moon.
I just gave myself a funny image a little bit ago when I said DiCaprio already gave the performance of his life and got his Oscar. That means they're done with him now.
Mm-hmm.
Picture him walking up to Tobey Maguire and saying, "It's official, buddy. I'm a has-been."
And speaking of this, another thing too, I don't know if you've noticed it, but when I do a thumbs up, it gives me a thumbs up emoji, and yes, when I do two thumbs up, it gives me fireworks. I don't understand this at all.
I was going to ask you, like, are you doing that, or is it doing that?
Magic.
There we go. Fireworks. Thank you.
I feel like this is how behind.
Orange Cassidy's got to love his iPhone.
This is how behind I am on technology. I feel like most people seeing our reactions to this is like watching a child react to car keys.
That's a good way to put it.
All right, are we doing director?
Yeah.
I made a change I didn't want to make, but weirdly enough, I actually feel a little more comfortable because I made this change. Because I took out somebody I was not comfortable taking out, and thankfully I got to put them back. I just had to sacrifice something I really didn't want to sacrifice to do that. So I have Yorgos Lanthimos for Poor Things, Nolan for Oppenheimer, Alexander Payne. Come on. Okay, did I glitch out for a second?
Oh, not at all.
Didn't appear like it.
Everything like froze. Okay, Lanthimos, Nolan, Payne, Scorsese, Justine Triet for Anatomy of a Fall. So I took out. I had Payne, and I went on my whole thing about how they love Payne. As long as he's not making downsizing, they will go for Payne. But I took him out, and I had Celine Song since the beginning. But ever since I took Payne out, I was really uncomfortable with it. And unfortunately, like I said, I don't want it to seem like I'm abandoning past lives. But I had to put Payne back, especially since I heard the thing about how he shot on digital, but in post-production they made it look like film, like grainy film, to make it look like it was in the 70s. It's like, well, that alone might do it.
For sure.
So, yeah, and it was between, Song and Triet, and it's like, I feel like Triet is going to be our international choice, I guess. Is there? Yeah, I mean, technically, yeah. I don't know what the hell counts as international once we change it to international, but yeah, that's what I don't like the idea of past lives falling behind, but like I said, I'm not giving up on past lives. I just had to put Payne in, and Song was the one to go. So, yeah, it happens.
I don't think I made any adjustments for the first time tonight. I think it's the only one. I still have Emerald Fennell for Saltburn, Greta Gerwig for Barbie, Yorgos Lanthimos for Poor Things, Nolan for Oppenheimer, and Scorsese for Killers of the Flower Moon. I am at the point where I'm thinking that Fennell could move out for Payne, but the other four seem the stronger of the lot. In general, I think there is a chance that the script of Saltburn could be praised, but sort of, because it's divisive, maybe it misses out on director.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe divisive, actually. Really?
I mean, it depends how you look at it. You know, from what I've read of the synopsis, because I haven't been able to see it over here, and also I'm just waiting for it to show up on Amazon. Because I don't want to deal with bloody idiots coming out of other screens for
it's
other films.
then you ended up in the theater of Napoleon, and they open the door, and it's left open, and someone decides to shut it because they're grumpy. And the next thing you know, a dad and a son walk in, and next thing you know, they see Joaquin going at it. That happened on Friday.
So yeah, that's what I have at the minute. Not as confident about it, but maybe when I actually get an idea as to properly what people think of some of these other films, when they get their release somewhere, it will get more of an idea. Spencer has Scorsese, Nolan, Payne, Lanthimos, and Glazer for Zone of Interest. Josie has J.A. Bayona for Society of the Snow. Nuri Bilge Ceylan for About Dry Grasses. Jonathan Glazer for Zone of Interest. Tran Al Hung for Taste of Things. Hayao Miyazaki for The Boy and the Heron. Chris Nolan for Oppenheimer. Scorsese for Killers of the Flower Moon. Justine Triet for Anatomy of a Fall. And Wim Wenders for Perfect Days. That's why Paris, Texas was brought up.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Makes sense. And Bry has there's a lot here. Payne, Nolan, Celine Song, Wim Wenders, and Yorgos Lanthimos. I bumped Scorsese out because I feel Killers might be underperforming. I switched Wenders and Trier. I could have done both, but both Anatomy of a Fall and Perfect Days are both from Neon, so I'd have to go with one instead of both. If Wenders wins any big critic prizes like New York or LA, keep an eye out for him to possibly be the international director, if you want to look at it like that. I know Past Lives going through the Licorice Pizza Triangle of Sadness route via original screenplay, director, and picture. Also, I think with Zone of Interest, I could actually be an extremely cold movie for the Academy. Then again, that's probably what Glazer would want. I don't know. He seems to be that sort of director.
Okay. Yeah, Glazer is the name I keep seeing pop up as the fifth slot a lot. And again, I'm not doing anything with Zone of Interest as of right now. Again, another thing that could end up biting me later on, but we'll get there when we get there. Yeah, Ashley, you did kind of hit the nail on the head that Emerald Fennell might be a little bit divisive when it comes to the directing of Saltburn. And once you see the movie, you know exactly how true that statement really is. It's literally a love it or hate it movie. And I'm not sure exactly how much they're going to take to it. I'm okay with anything it gets, but I mean, at this point, I can't see her in the lineup here. Cord Jefferson is one name I see popping up a lot. It depends on how much they really truly go for American fiction, but I don't necessarily see that happening either. So that being said, oh yeah, and I also have to shout out Sean Durkin too, especially if they love the Iron Claw that much. That'd be nice. I'd like that. That'd be cool. But I haven't changed anything, and why should I? Yorgos Lanthimos for Poor Things, Martin Scorsese for The Killers of the Flower Moon, Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer, Greta Gerwig for Barbie, and yes, Alexander Payne for The Holdovers.
finally to the picture.
Well, this is simple because I didn't change anything. So I still have American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, The Iron Claw, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, and Poor Thing.
Okay.
One change for me. I've pulled out of Anatomy of a Fall. I don't know if I had it in at the first place, but I've put the colour purple in there because I don't know whether it's going to have enough momentum. I at least wanted it in here to at least acknowledge it could be in the 10. Depends how that's I don't even know when the premiere of that's supposed to be happening. It must be within the next few weeks. It's going to be releasing, Christmas time, so it's eligible. So I have American Fiction, Barbie, Color Purple, Holdovers, Iron Claw, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and Saltburn. In the chat, Spencer has Oppenheimer, Killers of the Flower Moon, Barbie, Poor Things, Holdovers, Air, Zone of Interest, Past Lives, Anatomy of a Fall, and Maestro. Josie's 10. Hang on. I don't think Josie put her 10.
Oh,
I see director, and then
She said I named 12. It's at the very bottom of the screen.
Oh, okay. We've got to
I literally
scroll
just
up and
saw it.
down. There we go. Yeah, Josie has All of Us Strangers, American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, The Boy and the Heron, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things, Society of Snow, Taste of Things, and Zone of Interest. And then Bry's 10 are American Fiction, Barbie, Color Purple, Holdovers, The Iron Claw, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, and Poor Things. Color Purple is the 10th slot, with the Iron Claw at 9th. I have Perfect Days right now going like another round, where it just gets international feature and director. And hey to Timothy Knight. You're late.
Hey, Tim.
But good you're in.
Bye.
I feel like I just missed a couple of things.
Not really. I think I've got everything in here. Yeah, we've gone through everything in chat. If American Fiction would overperform, it definitely would get in for film editing, says Brian. My lineup changed one bit. So remember how I said at the beginning of the show, if you go back to the very beginning when I said that every time I see a trailer for The Color Purple, I'm losing more hope in it, and I said that I almost bumped Danielle Brooks out? Well, Color Purple is now officially not on my Best Picture lineup as of now. My Best Picture lineup, as it stands, American Fiction, Barbie, The Holdovers, The Iron Claw, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things. Welcome to the dance, Emerald Fennell. Saltburn is my number 10. Will I go for it? I guess we'll find out soon enough. Maybe I'm discounting the wrong movie. It's possible. Anatomy of a Fall could be on here, for sure. I mean, it's a solid film. I feel like it's more of an acting and directing movie and the script than it is an overall picture film. But I guess I love the love that we have in chat for Air. That makes me super happy. I wish that would be a thing. I missed when it was. Air still remains one of my favorite movies of the year.
I've seen both of them twice, but I still can't decide which I prefer between Air and Blackberry.
Oh, God. It's tough. Because Blackberry held up on a tiny, tiny screen on the back of a seat in an airplane. So it held up just as much as it did the two times I saw it theatrically.
You should. You should have watched Blackberry on your phone to really slap him in the face.
Thought about it.
If
Thank you,
if
Delta, for
could
giving
hack
us all
the
free Wi-Fi.
software
We
so you
appreciate
could
it.
watch BlackBerry on a BlackBerry.
Such a great movie. It's gonna suck that no one's gonna give it credit this season. Please do something. I appreciate it if you do.
I'm trying
Just
to
nominate it for
remember if
something.
it's is it in Gotham at any point? Or because they
I wish I could watch
because they
Sanctuary
increased the
too. Or
budget, is it not in the supporting performance?
Are you talking about it? Both Air and Blackberry show up, I think. Howerton's there,
Howerton's definitely there.
Howerton's in it.
and Air's getting like a special award of some kind.
Yes, I think that might be the show.
Joe's. So in the other stuff that revolves around everything that we talked about, I think it's in relation to Spencer rather than my prediction. Josie says, I love you that you've got Spider-Verse in the adapted screenplay lineup. More animated films and screenplay lineups, please. Well, the problem is they just keep remaking the animated ones. As apparently we're now getting a live-action How to Train Your Dragon from Universal.
Why? Oh, it's coincides with the universe. That makes sense.
Because Disney. If
Never stopped us
if it
before.
works for Disney, it's got to work for everyone else, right?
No, we're the one that takes the reins, not pay attention. Seriously. Anyway,
Josie says Cillian Murphy would be my personal winner, I guess, for actor. His performance takes such a high degree of difficulty. I'm trying to scroll through slowly but fast at the same time. Because the adapted screenplay category is so crowded, which big contender you think could miss adapted? Josie asks us.
I mean, looking at the competition, I guess. Well, fuck, I don't know. I was just gonna have a knee-jerk reaction and say American Fiction, but I don't know because it'll be because if they take into account the adaptation process, honestly, maybe Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah.
If they decide to see it as more technical.
In that respect, possibly.
Because I would say Oppenheimer, but they made such a big fucking deal about Nolan writing it in first person. That's probably gonna play a part.
There's the comment from Josie about the original song for Holdover. Josie says, I wonder if since Barry Keoghan deservedly won the BAFTA last season, I wonder if he could get the lead actor category for Saltburn. Huh.
I support this, Josie, 100%. He's like Patrick Bateman.
Yeah. I think he could certainly get nominated. Depends how they do those nominations for it and try and mix it up. As they seemingly do now, with like half like automatically voted in and the other ones sort of have to go through like a second round of voting, which is weird. Anatomy of a Fall 1000% deserves a screenplay nod for the way it masters ambiguity.
I'll give you that. It's going to be hard. I mean, it's like, for example, it's going to be more difficult for me that if they end up pivoting and putting Barbie in original after all, then I'm really going to have a problem.
Random shout out to Rosamund Pike in Die Another Day comment from Josie. I think she did a better job in Johnny English Reborn, but there you go.
Speaking of Affleck,
You broke your heart. America Ferrera's character's husband in Barbie is her real-life husband, Brian Piers Williams. I wonder if Color Purple could play out like Into the Woods. Where it gets an acting nod and maybe a tech or two, but misses the best 10. Yeah. I mean, I'm
I,
guessing
I
they've
don't know.
I'm guessing they've written a new song so it purposely gets in for best song.
Just give me some more viewings of that trailer, and I'll probably be on that bandwagon at this point.
I'm trying to work out if there was like a new song that came out in the past 12 months that's in that Taylor Swift concert. Does that count?
There's not. And speaking of that, thank you, because I get to mention this. The Eras Tour is actually going to streaming on December 13th.
Oh,
Yeah, that just got announced today.
okay. Well, I'm looking at the wrong things.
Super excited. Very happy. Can't wait to see it again. Go see it in the theater. Give Taylor more money. She deserves it.
Dominic Sessa was found at the Deerfield Academy, the school where Holdovers was filmed. So that would be a
That's true.
fun newcomer deal.
I really would love to see him get nominated. I really would. He's just his emoting in that movie is just phenomenal. He's great with Payne's dialogue too.
My mum also loved the Holdovers when she saw it. We loved how it was a compelling character piece on how there's more to people than what appears. Also, a holiday movie that I think could pair well with it is Day Trippers from 96 or 97, directed by Greg Mottola. AJ, have you seen Day Trippers?
I have not, but I have a small list of movies that I'm planning on like blind buying on Criterion, and that is one of them.
Bry randomly says it did with James Franco in 2017. So I'm trying to
Don't get me started about that.
That's more intense than what we were talking about, though. Plus, that's okay. Okay, I get it. That was literally the start of Me Too. That's a whole other thing than what we were talking about. This isn't Eddie Murphy did Norbit, or De Niro lost a trial. It was literally the start of a movement. That's a little different.
I'm sorry. I love The Disaster Artist. I won't defend the person, but I'll defend the performance.
Okay, we've got a couple of Gotham's in. Anatomy of a Fall got screenplay and international feature.
Shock surprise.
Four Daughters got best documentary feature. So I'll be putting that in the Excel sheet in a few minutes. Greta Lee's performance is beautiful. I'm guessing this is for Past Lives. Does so much acting with her eyes. Adding, also says if Chastain won Best Actress for Tammy Faye, then Annette Bening could easily get in for Nyad.
I'm not on this Nyad train, but I feel like I'm one of the only people that's not on it, even though the whole panel isn't. But I mean, I'm seeing it everywhere. And I see Bening more than anything. I see pop up about Nyad like more than anything. I've seen the trailer for it, but I mean,
also, I refuse to say Tammy Faye was a career win for Chastain. I think that was a fully earned win.
Still haven't seen that movie.
Obviously, Napoleon was not a good guy, but it's cool how his wife had my name, says Josie.
Josie, I thought that the entire movie.
The one bit I liked is when they did the edit of, because obviously there's the controversial scene about bloody Napoleon shooting the cannon into the pyramid that never happened, but then somebody edited it so the cannon hit like Galvatron or whatever when they randomly fight at the pyramids in the Transformers film. that's more historically accurate.
I literally watched a horse get blown up while Napoleon was riding it. So
Josie says, I did see Napoleon yesterday. I really liked what I saw of it. Much of it having to do with the performances and battle sequences, but felt choppily edited. I'm very curious to see the 4-hour cut.
Eek. Better you than
Ridley
me,
Scott will love you, Josie. Because everyone else he's practically said fuck off to.
Accurate. And in public, if you will.
Yeah. Although Cillian Murphy would be my personal winner, I think Giamatti would be a deserving winner too. I love his line delivery and holdovers. If Giamatti were to get Best Lead Actor, at the Globes, it'd be cool if Michael Douglas presented through the Wonder Boys connection. Josie also says, I'm wondering whether Scorsese is going to be the Villeneuve of the season.
Kind of crossed my mind a little bit.
Possible. Depends on how.
It crossed my mind, and then I immediately tried to block it out.
I wonder if Jeffrey Wright misses for American Fiction if the film could pull a woman talking with just screenplay and picture. Alternatively, it could be a three-nod film with picture adapted screenplay and editing, since they do comedies in editing.
It might be in my lineup. I haven't quite decided that far yet. I still got another month to figure that one out.
With Bry saying if American Fiction would overperform, it definitely would get in for film editing.
Yeah. I mentioned that earlier.
And that's it. That mean I do thumbs up and then like weird bloody pyro comes out my fingers like I'm
Hold on. Let's do it. Yeah. I'm gonna do that from now on. I love having power. Thank you, iPhone.
Every time we get a perfect 5 out of 5 when we get to Oscars Day.
Oh my God, I will.
It's gonna be just random pyro from Owen's feed.
I don't know if it works the opposite way though. Nope. Oh, there it is. Yep, thumbs down. That's my thoughts about Dix the Musical. Anyway.
So I don't know whether we tentatively have a date for when we're doing the predictions next month.
I thought it was New Year's Eve.
Yes, I think it. Yeah. Oh yeah, because I'll be doing it on New Year's Day, so I'll be getting the real pyro in the background, and all the dogs will be going, "Shut up! I want to go to sleep."
I literally have pyro right outside my door. You know this.
Oh, Josie happy that Anatomy of a Fall got a screenplay win on the Gotham.
Just the courtroom scenes alone are like enough to get it a screenplay nod. And like they're back and forth too, like the aftermath of everything, and like basically like archival footage. Basically, I could see that happening.
Speaking of thumbs, there's a new book at the library about Siskel and Ebert called Opposable Thumbs. That might be one I have to see if it's somehow cheap on Amazon. That seems intriguing. So the trilogy concludes tomorrow. We get to our Q&A session at 6 p.m. Eastern, where no doubt we'll be talking about, we'll probably round up the rest of what we haven't covered in terms of what's happening with these Gothams. We'll touch on it there. Along with probably Criterion stuff. Because have they announced any more? I feel like they probably would have done.
That's on you, Brian. Get a list.
I'm quickly checking now. Just so I know ahead of time and like whether there's something interesting there. Oh yeah, we have February. There's some interesting February stuff there. But I guess we'll cover that tomorrow. And then back in a couple of weeks for Get Santa. We'll be getting the Santa. Hopefully. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks it doesn't disappear for free off all the platforms that it's on, especially considering the season that it is. If they're really going to be sneaky and now put it behind a paywall, I'm going to be so annoyed. but we'll see. But now and then, which is a Beatles song, check out all the other stuff here. Owen Sippin' Snacks, Voice of Liberty, all sorts of other content. Ages movie reviews and verses. If you want to watch the Killers of the Flower Moon review again, do so. I've got my gaming stuff and my snack stashes, which, I mean, there's a few that I need to do. One that I'm trying to work out logistically how I'm going to do, because I'm going to need a lot of room. I bought way too much of a particular type of drink. I guess as a follow-up to, I sort of semi-follow-up to 5 years ago. I don't know. It's fizzy, that's all I'm telling you. So yeah, we got that. And as previously mentioned, you know, the movie club in a couple of weeks, Q&A tomorrow, and then New Year's Eve. So, hang on. I've got Steam up, so I can't see when. I know when Steam is getting deactivated on this computer, so then it was like, that must be December the 31st. I think it's like 30 something days to go until that. Social media wise, you can find Owen on Twitter at Sir Owen Disney and Popcast Network to get all your notifications, at least on there, as to when we've got videos and everything up on the channel. I can be found on Twitter, X, whatever, at Ash is my name UK. AJ cannot be found on Twitter or X or insert word here, and just like Keith Richards, cannot be killed by conventional weapons. Make sure, if you enjoyed this, to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, click on the notification bell icon thing, to be made aware, hopefully, if the YouTube software works, of when new videos and live streams go live, or live streams are scheduled, whatever, on here. Thank you to Bri, to Josie, to Spencer, to Tim, even if it was just a randomly poke the head in. Hey guys. And those of you that watched on archive as well and weren't able to catch us live. We thank you for that. So, until next time, everybody, get some property. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. And until then, the ghost of Suzuki.